King Parikshit thought, due to my neglecting the injunctions of the Supreme Lord, I must certainly expect some difficulty to overcome me in the near future. I now desire without reservation that the calamity come now, for in this way I may be freed of the sinful action and not commit such an offense again.
Text 3. Adhyeva rajyam balam radhakosham prakopita brahma kulanalo me dahata abhardhasya punarname bhut papi yasidhi dvijadeva gobhyaha.
Translation. I am uncivilized and sinful due to my neglect of Brahminical culture, God consciousness, and cow protection. Therefore, I wish that my kingdom, strength, and riches burn up immediately by the fire of the Brahmana's wrath, so that in the future I may not be guided by such inauspicious attitudes.
Text 4. Sachintyan aitam atharshanodhyatha munhe sutokto nritistakashkaya sadhu mene nachirena takshaka nalam prakartasya virakti karnam.
Translation. While the king was thus repenting, he received news of his imminent death, which would be due to the bite of a snake bird. Occasioned by the curse spoken by the sage's son, the king accepted this as good news, for it would be the cause of his indifference toward worldly things.
Text 5. Atho vihayemam amum chalokam vimarshito he ateya purastad Krishna grisvem adhimanyamana upavisat prayam amrityanadhyam.
Translation. Maharaj Parikshit sat down firmly on the banks of the Ganges to concentrate his mind in Krishna consciousness, rejecting all other practices of self-realization, because transcendental loving service to Krishna is the greatest achievement, superseding all other methods.
Text 6. Yave lasacharitul sivimishra Krishna grirena abhyadi kambu netri Unatilokanubhayatrasesan kastam na sevata marishe yamanaha.
Translation. The river by which the king sat to fast carries the most auspicious water, which is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord and tulsi leaves. Therefore, that water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside, and even sanctifies Lord Shiva and other demigods. Consequently, everyone who is destined to die must take shelter of this river.
Text 7. Iti vyavachidasa pandaveya prayopavesham prativeshnu padyam dadho mukunda nigrihim ananya bhavo muni vrito mukta samasta sangha.
Translation. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage.
Text 8. Tatropajegmur bhavnam punana mahanubhamunyasa shishya prayena tirath bhigamapadeshe swayam hitirthani punanti santa.
Translation. At that time, all the great minds and thinkers, accompanied by their disciples and sages who could verily sanctify a place of pilgrimage just by their presence, arrived there on the plea of making a pilgrim's journey.
Text 9 and 10. Asti vasishtaschyanavana sharvadamam aristanemi brigurangrischa parasharugadhi sutotha rama utathya indra parmedh mavaho मेधतिथिर्देवतारिष्टशेनो भारद्वाजो गोत्तमः पिपलदाः मैत्र्या और्वः कवशा कुम्भेनोर्द्वैपायनो भगवानारदश्च.
Translation. From different parts of the universe, there arrived great sages like Atri, Jyavana, Saradwan, Aristanemi, Rigu, Vashishta, Parasara, Viswamitra, Angira, Parshurama, Uttatya, Indra Pramada, Idmavahu, Medatithi, Devala, Arstisena, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Pipalada, Maitreya, Urva, Kavasa, Kumbhayoni, Dvaipayana, and the great personality Narada.
Text 11. अनेच देवऋषि भ्रमऋषि वर्या राजऋषि वर्या अरुणादयश्च नानार्षया पर्वरान् समेतान् अभ्याचया शीर्षा ववन्दे.
Translation. There were also many other saintly demigods, kings, and special royal orders called Arunadayas, a special rank of Rajarishis from different dynasties of sages. When they all assembled together to meet the Emperor Parikshit, he received them properly and bowed his head to the ground.
Text 12. Sukhopaveштеषु भूय कृता प्रणाम स्वचिकीर्षितं यत् विज्ञापयामास विविक्तचेता उपस्थितो गृहभिगृहीतपणिः.
Translation. After all the rishis and others had seated themselves comfortably, the king, humbly standing before them with folded hands, told them of his decision to fast until death.
Text 13. Rajovacha aho vayam dhanyatma niripnam mahatmanu grohiniya shilaha Ragyam kulam brahmana padashochad durad vrishtam vyatagro garhya karma.
Translation. The fortunate king said, "Indeed, we are the most grateful of all the kings who are trained to get favors from the great souls. Generally, you, sages, consider royalty as refuse to be rejected and left in a distant place."
Text 14. Tasyeva meghasya paravaresho vyasakta chittasya grahesha bhikshanam nirvedamulo dvijashaparupo yatra prasakto bhayam ashudhate.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world.
Text 15. Tammopyatam partyantu vipra ganga cha devi dhita chetameshe dvijo prashata kuhukastakoshkova dastav alam gayata vishnu gataha.
Translation. O Brahmanas, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganges, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. For I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird or whatever magical thing the Brahmana created bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu.
Text 16. Punascha bhuyat bhagavati anante rati prasangascha tad ashriyeshu mahatsu yam yam upayami shristam Maitre astu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah.
Translation. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees and friendly relations with all living beings.
Text 17. Iti smarajadhaya vasaya yukta prachina muleshu kusheshu dhiraha udan mukho dakshina kulaste samudra patne asvasutane nestabharaha.
Translation. In perfect self-control, Maharaj Parikshit sat down on a seat of straw with straw roots facing the east, placed on the southern bank of the Ganges, and he himself faced the north. Just previously, he had given charge of his kingdom over to his son.
Text 18. Evam cha tasmin naradeva deve prayo pavishte divi deva sangha prashasya bhumo vyakiran parashner muda muhurdan dunbhyascha neduhu.
Translation. Thus the king, Maharaj Parikshit, sat to fast until death. All the demigods of the higher planets praised the king's actions, and in pleasure continually scattered flowers over the earth and beat celestial drums.
Mataji, how many verses are we reading?
20.
Okay. Text 19. Maharashya ve samupai gataye prashasya sadhaviti anomodamana ucha prajnar garhas shilashara yadottam shloka gunabhira rupam.
Translation. All the great sages who were assembled there also praised the decision of Maharaj Parikshit, and they expressed their approval by saying, "Very good." Naturally, the sages are inclined to do good to common men, for they have all the qualitative powers of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they were very much pleased to see Maharaj Parikshit, a devotee of the Lord, and they spoke as follows.
Text 20. Nava idam raj rishi varya chitram bhavatsu krishnam samarvanavrutteshu ye dhyasnam raja kirita jushtam sadyo jahur bhagvat parshava kamaha.
Translation. The sages said, O chief of all the saintly kings of the Pandu dynasty, who are strictly in the line of Lord Sri Krishna, it is not at all astonishing that you give up your throne, which is decorated with the helmets of many kings, to achieve eternal association with the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Girish Prabhu and Kirti Mataji, for the recitations. Jyoti Mataji, can I share my screen?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. There it is. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, thank you for the recitations. So we are going to read 14th, 15th, and 16th verse of the 19th chapter of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we will start now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudvirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Yam Pravrjantam Anupetamapeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Aju Ava Utreti Tan Mayatayo Tarvo Bhinedus Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Nimantusmi. So the 14th verse we'll start. Tasyaiva meghasya paravareshu vyasaktachittasya gruheshu bhikshanam nirvedamulo dvijashaparupo yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both the transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of a Brahmana's curse. Due to my being too much attached to family life, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world. Purport. Maharaj Parikshit, although born in a family of great devotees, the Pandavas, and although securely trained in transcendental attachment for the association of the Lord, still found the allurement of mundane family life so strong that he had to be detached by the plan of the Lord. Such direct action is taken by the Lord in case of a special devotee. Maharaj Parikshit could understand this by the presence of the topmost transcendentalist in the universe. The Lord resides with his devotees, and therefore the presence of the great saints indicated the presence of the Lord. The king therefore welcomed the presence of great rishis as a mark of favor of the Supreme Lord. Text 15. Temopayatam pratiyantu vipra Ganga cha devi dhrutachittameshe dvijopasrishtaha kuhakastak takshako va dashatvalam gayata vishnugatha. O Brahmanas, translation, O Brahmanas, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganges, the representative of the Lord, also accept me in that way. For I have already taken the lotus feet of the Lord into my heart. Let the snake bird or whatever magical thing the Brahmana created bite me at once. I only desire that you all continue singing the deeds of Lord Vishnu. Purport. As soon as one is given up completely unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, he is not at all afraid of death. The atmosphere created by the presence of great devotees of the Lord on the bank of the Ganges and Maharaj Parikshit's complete acceptance of the Lord's lotus feet were sufficient guarantee to the king for going back to Godhead. He thus became absolutely free from all fear of death. This is a very, very, very important, very powerful, very beautiful verse, text number 16. Punascha bhuyad bhagavatyanante rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyam mam upayam mahatsuyam yam upayami drishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyaha. We'll recite this verse again. Very, very, very powerful. Translation. Again, offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that if I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. Purport. That a devotee of the Lord is the only perfect living being is explained herein by Maharaj Parikshit. A devotee of the Lord is no one's enemy, although there may be many enemies of a devotee. A devotee of the Lord does not like to associate with non-devotees. Although he has no enmity with them, he desires association of the devotees of the Lord. This is perfectly natural because birds of the same feather mix together. And the most important function of a devotee is to have complete attachment for Lord Krishna, the Father of all living beings. As a good son of the Father behaves in a friendly way with all his with all his other brothers, so also the devotee of the Lord, being a good son of the Supreme Father, Lord Krishna, sees all other living beings in relation with the Supreme Father. He tries to bring back the upstart sons of the Father to a saner stage and to get them to accept the Supreme Fatherhood of God. Maharaj Parikshit was certainly going back to Godhead, but even if he were not to go back, he prayed for a pattern of life which is the most perfect way in the material world. A pure devotee does not desire a company of a personality as great as Brahman, but he prefers the association of a petty living being, provided he is a devotee of the Lord. This is the verse we can meditate on actually. Punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante ratih prasangascha tadashrayashu mahatsuyam yam upayam srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijabhya. So let's go back to the first verse we're going to discuss today. Tasyaiva meghasya paravareshu vyasakta chittasya gruheshva bhikshanam nirveda mulo dvijishaparupo yatra prasakto bhayamashu datte. Let's start for Mangala Charana. Is there anything? Okay. And then we will start our discussion. Om Adnyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sa Advaitam Sa Avadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ajanulambita Bhujau Kanakavadhato Sankirtane Kapitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambharo Dvijaparo Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Avataro Yantah Pravishya Mamavacha Mimam Prasuttam Sanjeevayatya Akhila Shakti Dharaswadhamna Nyamscha Hastacharana Shravanatvagadin Pranandamo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. So thank you everyone for joining this discussion. So we will have some good meditation today, because how to be free from the fear of death, that is actually the theme of these three verses. And if we see the actual background of this, if we try to segregate the set of verses in this chapter, so first 7 verses, Maharaj Parikshit expresses his regression for the act, though he is not responsible for it, and then he gratefully accepts that curse and immediately thinks of renouncing everything. So that's basically the first 7 verses Maharaj Parikshit is reflecting upon. And then his conviction about the goal of life, that's what he talks here as well, but even before in the first 7 verses, is the glory of Mother Ganga. It's water was mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So he has that right consciousness to meditate on. You can imagine how he must be thinking. He's a Mahabhagavat. He's a pure devotee of the Lord. He's the king, he's the emperor. And at the same time, he's a Raja Rishi. He understands that this is all temporary. He has to give up at some point of time. And he's prepared to give up his whole opulence, his kingdom, his entire empire, as without any regrets or without any attachment. How he does that, and that's what his consciousness is in these first 7 verses. And that the mother of the glory of Mother Ganga, the way he talks about is it sanctifies the 3 worlds. He talks about Lord Shiva and the demigods, and he says, therefore, who at the point of death, Marishamana, would not serve Mother Ganga. You can imagine the way he's bringing his consciousness to the right point, that now it is time to give up. The fortunate part is he knows that how he is going to leave this world, how many days, he has everything, and how he is preparing. What this is teaching us, that how a Jivatma in this material world, how he or she should follow the footsteps of these great personalities. Prayopaveshan, he says that in the earlier verses, Girish Prabhu was just reciting. Prayopaveshan means he's fasting death. That's what his determination is in the 7th verse. And then from 8 to 24, his gratitude that he's saying that these all great personalities have assembled here, and how respectfully he is submitting himself to their association, to their lotus feet. And you can imagine his desire here, that what he's saying is that whatever the arrangement that Brahmana's curse is, it's because of the Lord's arrangement that he wants me to take it back. So every adversary, the reversal in our life, if we have the same mood of this is the arrangement of the Lord to take me close to the Lord. Here in the 14th verse, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of both transcendental and mundane worlds, has graciously overtaken me in the form of Brahmana's curse. So he has a clear understanding that everything is happening because of the Lord's arrangement. And that's where he's preparing, that now what I need to do. And that's the first decision he takes, is a pryopravation. Then all the great sages, the demigods, and everyone is showering flowers, they're praising his decision, because that's the right consciousness to leave this material world. And he's setting an example. And he says that actually Maharaj Parikshit doesn't have any attachment to family life. But still, he says that I'm attached to family life, and that's why this arrangement has happened. So, as Prabhupada says in the purport here, that such direct action is taken by the Lord in case of a special devotee. So if he is a devotee, obviously he knows that the importance of detachment. So special devotee means he is completely detached. Very beautifully, Prabhupada is giving us the direction and the instruction in this purport. So he says, the Lord, in order to save me, has appeared before me in such a way that only out of fear I will detach myself from the world. So in Jaiva Dharma, Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about the 4 types of people who go closer towards Lord. There may not be a sense of bhakti in the 2 lower motivations, but in higher motivations, yes, there is sense of attraction. So what are those 4 motivations? Does anyone know? Okay. 2 lower motivations are, first one is bhaya, fear. So Lord is something, he has arranged everything, and I should be very scared. I should be fearful of that. So if we see a lot of religions in last 3,000-4,000 years, and there is a lot of emphasis on fear. And it's whether it's a right or wrong, that is according to everyone's tunes of how they want to surrender and how that mood of devotion should be. So accordingly, it will the person's attraction towards specific path of religious path will be. So first is bhaya. For example, a person thinks that if I don't do this, then there will be punishment. If I don't follow certain rules, then I will go to hell or something similar. So that is bhaya. The second one is lobha. Lobha is I am giving something and then I want something in return. Very trade-based relationship. So it may not be in the form of material aspirations all the time. It might be in the form of something subtle as well. That I want fame. So it actually, those lobha is desiring the 6 opulences of the Lord. So that even the yogi or the rishi, when they are renouncing something, that renunciation itself, that mode of goodness, also becomes an enjoyment for them. That, yes, I'm so renounced, and because of that, other opulences will also come under my control. Some kind of similar concoction some of the yogis or rishis may have. So that is the lobha. Not all the rishis and yogi are of that category. I'm just saying some of them, as some of our acharyas say in their commentary. Third motivation is a higher motivation. It is called kartavya buddhi. In kartavya buddhi, what happens is, for example, let's take the example of a very good child and his or her parents. So child understands that my parents are giving me everything. They are thinking about me. They have taken my responsibility. I belong to them. And then whatever my parents are saying, I'm supposed to follow that. Kartavya means it's my duty, it's my responsibility to serve them, to accept their orders. So that is a third motivation, and which is the higher motivation. But for a devotee, the first point when we accept that, yes, Lord is the controller, He's the creator of everything, of this material, of this world and everything. Aham sarvasya prabho mata sarva pravartate. So if he has created me, there is a reason behind it. Who am I? As Prabhupada says in so many of his lectures, that a human being should get the question in the mind that who am I? What is my responsibility? what am I supposed to do in this lifetime? Those basic questions, basically it comes to Kartavya Buddhi. The person who searches for that Kartavya Buddhi, they will get that understanding of the first part, which is Sambandha Jnana, relationship between me and God. I belong to somebody. And the last, which is the highest motivation coming to this path of spirituality or religion, is prema, love. And that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us in the Shikshashtakam. Yatha tathava vidadhatu lambato mat pranathastu sa eva matara. So that is the last motivation. Whether because my parents, because my owner, my Lord, he loves me, and whatever he does to me is out of his love and his compassion. And that's what the Lord Brahma says in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tattenu kampasu samikshamano bhunjane evatma kritam vipakam. So he's anukampa, tatte nu anukampa. Anukampa means compassion. So he's saying that tattenu kampasu samikshamano, when somebody understands with that complete surrender, with the sense of his logic or intellect given by the Lord himself, that the supreme compassionate is the Lord himself. Tattenu kampasu samikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. And I'm getting roasted in this material world for my own purification. Rid vak vapurubhir vidadhan namaste. Rid means our heart. Vak means to our power of speech. Vapu means our body. Vidadhan namaste. And all the surrender to the Supreme. Does that namastu with my okay, I think my connection is a bit weird. All can hear me, I think.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, apologies if I was just talking to myself and lost the connection. So let's see. So we are talking about the prayer of Lord Brahma, if I'm not wrong. Are we there together or? Am I right? Was connection got disconnected when we were discussing about the prayer from 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? Is that right?
I think so.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So, that's what this particular verse is telling us, that Parikshit Maharaj is moved here, that and although securely trained in transcendental attachment for the association of the Lord, still found the allurement of mundane family life so strong that he had to be detached by the plan of the Lord. That's what Parikshit Maharaj is thinking. Such direct action is taken by the Lord in case of a special devotee. A person who has seen the Lord even before taking birth in this material world. He has given this arrangement by the Lord himself. How amazing it is. And he just accepts it as it is. And then comes this second verse where तमोपयातं प्रतियन्तु विप्रा गंगाच देवी धृत चित्तमीशे द्विजोपसृष्टः कुहकस् तक्षको वा दशत्वलं गायत विष्णुगाथः. So all the sages who are assembled there, Dvaipayana Vyas and Shukadeva Goswami is about to appear there. All the great personalities, Narad Muni, Asita Devala, everyone. What Lord says in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, after Arjun, Arjun says that, Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshi Naradastatha, Asito Devala Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Brahmishime. So those great personalities have assembled here. Who are those great personalities? Who have been narrating the greatness, the ownership of the Lord throughout their entire literature in the Nyaya Sutra of Gautama Rishi and Ashtavakra Rishi, and every single person is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those all great sages have appeared here where when Maharaj Parikshit is going to now listen for 7 days, the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam by Shukadeva Goswami. So, preparation for our final exam, as we were just talking about, that's what these 3 verses are giving us here. So, as soon as one is given up completely unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, he is not at all afraid of death. So, what chapter of Bhagavad Gita gives us the direct instruction about this particular theme of surrendering unto the Supreme feet of remembering the Lord, the mood of surrender, how to how to meditate on the Lord. Which chapter Lord gives us the way? It's a very direct instruction given in the Bhagavad Gita. Anyone? I'll give a bit further clue. First 15 to 18 verses of that chapter is the actual instruction. And then thereafter, Lord gives a bit more technical details of that, about Lord Brahma's day and the manifested and unmanifested nature and everything. So that's the clue. Which chapter he talks about? Who can shed some light on this? It's the chapter number 8. Very, very amazing chapter. Means every single verse of that chapter is a preparation for Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Yoga, which is the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So the Sanskrit name of the 8th chapter is Akshara Brahma Yoga. And the first text of 8th chapter, Arjun asks that what is Brahma? What is self? What is the nature of the soul? What are fruitive activities? Phalanishpatti. What is this material manifestation? What is this material world? Who are all the demigods? And that is the first question Arjun asks to the Lord. Then he talks about the sacrifice and everything. This is actually the 8th chapter. We can directly connect to the 13th chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhag Yoga. Because this 8th chapter, after you can say 16th, 17th verse, Lord explains about certain technicalities, and then in 13th chapter, Krishna talks about the details of in the field and the knower of the field and everything. So this is what the mood of Maharaj Parikshit is sitting on the bank of Mother Ganga. In the 14th chapter, in the 14th verse, the earlier verse here, Maharaj Parikshit appreciates the Lord's grace. And in the 15th verse, he so this the translation itself.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you're cutting off, please.
Then we go to the next verse. Later, attending Brahma Yoga. So this is the famous verse. I'm sure is my connection not good. Yeah. Well, everyone knows this verse. I'm 100% sure. Yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastatra samshayah. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone, at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. This is the guarantee by the Supreme Lord Himself and our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, whose disappearance day we followed yesterday. It's also a type of celebration. I think this is an indication that I should quickly finish this class. So, if we go back on this, and then he who meditates on me as the Supreme Lord, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena Chetasananyagamina Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati Parthanu Chintayan. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. And this is Maharaj Parikshit exemplifying here in these 3 verses. Of course, the whole first 16 verses of this should be the meditation for the person who, for all of us actually, who are preparing to develop our consciousness in the right mood. And there is a lot to discuss about this particular topic on this. If we see how the last verse, I think there are, as I said, there is a lot to discuss about this particular 16th verse here. Punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante. So there are so many prayers which are related to this, that how to meditate, what to expect, and what to pray. And this is one of the prayers. I thought something very beautiful prayer it is. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Rishikesha, the controller of all my senses and the origin of everything. as the supreme master of all bodily, mental, and intellectual activities. He is the only enjoyer of their results. The 5 sense objects and 11 senses, including the mind, are his partial manifestations. He supplies all the necessities of life, which are his energy and thus non-different from him. He is the cause of everyone's bodily and mental prowess, which is also non-different from him. Indeed, he is the husband and provider of necessities for all living beings. This is the mood for the Lakshmi Pujan, what we did in our Diwali time. Not just Lakshmi ji, give me something all the time. The purpose of all the Vedas is to worship him. Therefore, let us all offer him our respectful obeisances. May he always be favorable towards us in this life and the next. Such a beautiful verse, the details, and such a perfect mood Maharaj Parikshit is showing us in the 16th verse today, what we are discussing. Of course, there is the 8th verse where Prahlad Maharaj is extending his prayers. No, 9th verse. This is I'm sure everyone knows. Om Namo Bhagavate Narsihaya Namaste Jaste Jase Avir Bhava Vajranakha Vajradanshtra Karmashayan Randhaya Randhaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Swaha Abhaya Bhayam Atmani Bhuishtha Om Shrom. It should be the meditation for all of us. It's a very beautiful verse to recite as well. It's a beautiful prayer for this. And up already, but we will just talk about this particular verse. If it is not there, then I'll just quickly this is 9th verse. Swastestu Vishwasya be good. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing Bhakti Yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him. Very, very powerful prayer. That's what the 16th verse is telling us. I will read the translation again, and then I think I will stop here. So, translation of the 16th verse is, again offering obeisances unto all you Brahmanas, I pray that I should again take my birth in the material world. If I should again take my birth in the material world, I will have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with his devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. So that's what the meditation is. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I will stop here.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So we are having the Damodar Ashtakam now. And who is singing the Ashtakam, please?
Mataji, I'm here.
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. So when you're ready, and okay, Harsha Mataji, are you ready to sing the Ashtakam, please?
Mataji, can you see the altar?
Oh, there is a disturbance on the line.
Mataji, I'm here. Are you able to see the altar?
I think Jyoti Mataji needs to spotlight your altar, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Jyoti Mataji, would you mind spotlighting Prabhuji's altar, please?
I have Mataji. Is it
Oh,
not?
you have. Okay,
Yeah.
then the lyrics, I think we have to remove the lyrics from
Yeah,
the
I'll stop.
screen.
I'll stop sharing.
Yes, thank you. Oh, there
Yes.
we are. It's beautiful. Thank you so much.
It's Mataji. Yeah, so I just wanted to, Mataji asked me to just share the altar. So I just wanted to just show Yashodan.
Okay. Are you going to do the lamp offering, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu, yes, Mataji, that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. So, Harsha Mataji, when you're ready,
So
please.
Mataji is going to sing and I will be offering the lamp, yeah? Is that what?
That's right. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
So, Harsha Mataji, when you're ready, please. Thank you. Harsha Mataji, we can't hear you. Sorry, Prabhuji. Maybe Harsha Mataji is having
Would you want me to?
a problem with the internet, maybe. Harsha Mataji, can you hear me? Okay. Can anyone else sing, please, for
You want,
Mataji?
you want
Hare
me to?
Krishna.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
please. Yes, whoever would like to sing, please go ahead. Thank you.
I'll sing. I don't mind.
I can sing.
Thank you.
Hang on, I'm just going to get the words.
I can hear you. Please there. I can.
Harsha Mataji, there is some disturbance on your connection. So someone else is going to sing for you, if
Yes,
that's
I
okay.
can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Oh, there was some disturbance earlier on.
Yeah.
Do you want me to sing or is Harsha okay to sing?
Can
Harsha
you hear me
Mataji,
now?
would you like to sing?
I
Let's
think
see
you
what
better
happens.
sing.
All right.
No, I think you carry on. There's some problem on my side.
Namamishwaram Sachitanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamanam Yashoda Biyolukala Davamanam Paramristamatyantato Trutya Gopya Rudantamuhurnetrayugmamrijantam Karambojayugmena satankanetram Muhuswasakam patrirekankakanta Sita Grevam Damodaram Bhaktibadam Iti Trikswalila Pirananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akhyapayantam Tadiyeshitagneshu Bhakte Chitatvam Puna Prematastam Satavriti Vande Varam Neva Moksham Na Mokshavatim Va Nachanyam Virneham Vare Shadapiha Idam Teva Purnatha Kopala Balam Sada Me Manasya Virastem Kimanye Idam Te Mukham Bojam Atyanta Nile Ritam Kuntale Snikta Raktascha Gopya Muhuchumbitam Bimba Raktataram Me Manasya Virastam Alam Lakshalabe Namo Deva Namo Darananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalapti Magnam Kripa Drishti Vrishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grinesha Mamagna Medhyakshidrisha Kuveratma Jaubata Mrityeva Yadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kruto Cha तथा प्रेम भक्ति स्वकं मे प्रयाचा न मोक्ष ग्रहो मेस्ति दामोदरेहा नमस्ते स्तुदाम्ने स्फुरदीप्तिदाम्ने त्वदीयोदरायाता विश्वस्य दाम्ने नमो राधिकाये त्वदीया प्रियाये नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमो राधिकाय त्वदीया प्रियाये नमो नन्तलीलाय देवाय तुभ्यं नमामीश्वरं सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलं गोकुले व्रजमानं यशोदाभियोलोकालादवमानं परं विस्तमत्यन्ततो धृत्यगोप्या Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radhe Jaya Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Yashoda Damodar Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Goranitai 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 Jaya Goranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radha Damodar Ki Jai Shri Yashoda Damodar Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kirti Mataji, and beautiful singing. And Shyam Prabhuji, thank you very much for the lamp offering. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Can have the English translations now. Jyoti Mataji, would you like to read the English translation, please?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge and bliss, whose shark-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was churning into butter and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from a swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Yashoda. But who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with greater speed? To that Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, I offer my humble obeisances. Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord, Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes, but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is embodied with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for the boon of impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopal in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use of me of any other boon besides this? O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me. O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you, O Damodara, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me by showering your glance of mercy upon me. Deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes. O Lord Damodara, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigriva and Lakuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby, tied with rope to a wooden grinding motor. In the same way, please give to me your own Prema Bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation. O Lord Damodara, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent rope which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Jyoti Mataji. Very nicely read. Thank you. So, dear devotees, we've come to the end of the session tonight. I think Prabhuji has left the session due to the connectivity problems, technical problems. So, we'll end this evening's session by chanting the Vaishnav prayer. We can all chant together. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you for the lovely class.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.